Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Welcome to Bemis Crafty Corner. Today we're going to be doing this. These are giant envelopes. And I'm going to tell you that there's a couple of ways you can do this. One, you can make your own envelopes. That's entirely up to you. The second way you can do it is you can go over to the craft store and you can buy a pack of these. These are from Paper Studio, so if you have a Hobby Lobby nearby, you can get one of them. You can get these over there. And they're pretty much the same size. They're a little bigger. But they have the same idea. You want the envelopes that open on the end like giant coin envelopes, which is why we'll be making our own today. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making an envelope album, journal kind of thing. So lots of parts to this one. I'm going to give you a complete supply list here in a second and some options. But we're going to go ahead and get started with this. So I will be back in just a moment. And we'll go through everything. I'll be right back. All right. We are going to need a lot of stuff for this, okay? So let's just take a look. We're going to want some eyelets, okay? And the eyelets need to be big enough to put these lock rings through. You're going to want at least 2 of these. Little ribbon or something to dress them up. Eyelets that they will go through and that match your paper. A plier to do the eyelet to punch your holes and put the eyelets on. Some glue. Scoreboard and score tools. Paper trimmer that can handle the paper and a 12 by 12 pad that you just want to bust it out. If it's double-sided, that's okay, but if it's only single-sided, that works as well. I have this one. This is DCWV. It's the Mariposa stack. It does have a little gold on it, a little, here and there type stuff. We're going to work with it anyway. First thing you want to do is you want to pull as many pages out of here as you want pages in this album, okay? So let's just start at the back. It's always easier that way, right? Here's one. Two. 3. 4. And this one. All right, we'll do 5. Okay? Ooh. Now, you're going to get more paper out of here, so we'll come back to that. But we're going to start with cutting our envelopes first. So you're going to get out your paper trimmer and get everything else out of the way. I'll be right back. I'm going to give you some measurements, and then some score mark. We're going to do some scoring, and then we're going to fold and put our envelopes together, and then we're going to kind of move on from there. All right? I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to cut first. And the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be cutting some pieces that are 10.5 inches by 7 3/4. 10.5 is our up and down. Okay, so 10.5 is this length. It's the length of the envelope. All right, so if you're using directional paper, you want to make sure that you keep that. So we're going to go 10.5. And we're going to cut all of our papers down to 10.5. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do all of these on camera. I'm going to cut them all, but I'm not going to put them all together. Okay? We want them to be 10.5 inches tall. Good scraps, keep those. And then they have to be 7 3/4 inches wide. So you're going to kind of play with this a little bit to decide where what piece you want to use, keep those. All right. So let's see. I think we're going to do this one here. I kind of like this, so I think I'm going to go this way. This way. And then this piece, I want that part. So 7 3/4 here. All right, once you have all your pieces cut out, we're going to get on to the next part. I'm going to get the cutting board out of the way. I'll be right back. We are going to be doing some scissor work here. So get your scissors out, okay? And put your trimmer away. Get out your scoring tools. I'll be right back. So we're going to start with the short side. That is the shorter of the two sides, which is 7 3/4, and it is in our scoreboard. We're going to score this at 1 3/4. Light scores. A couple of light scores would be better than one big gouging score. And then over here at 5 1/4. Okay? So all of these. 1 3/4 and 5 1/4. And the last one. Now, once you have these all done, 1 3/4. Once you have all of these done, we're going to turn them to the side, and we're going to put the rest of the scores in. So with the top of your page on the right. So if you have a page, let's pull this one, like this one that has like a butterfly on it and you're trying to preserve that, it needs to be on the right, okay? So we're going to put this in, and we are going to score this at 3/4 of an inch, and then all the way over here at 9. All right, again, with our top to the right at 3/4 of an inch and at 9. 3/4 and 9. Okay, so once we have all of these done, we are going to fold and burnish. And how are we going to do that? Right, hills into valleys, valleys into hills. And the last one, 3/4 of an inch at the bottom, 9 all the way over here. Okay, so basically it's a big square. That's what we want. I'm going to get rid of these, get rid of the stylus and the scoreboard, and then get out my bone folder, and we're going to get these folded, and then we're going to do some scissor work. I'll be right back. Hills into valleys, valleys into hills. So where you ran your stylus, that is a valley. You've pressed down on the paper. The other side is puffed up, and that becomes a hill. So we're going to fold into the hill. Okay. So why did we score? We score because we don't want the paper to crack. This makes it so that it's less likely that it will crack. Okay. Now, I may have some cracking with this because it's got the gold foil on it, and that does tend to crack. So we're going to get all of these folded, and when we've got them all folded, then we're going to be doing some inking. Well, cutting, then inking. All right, I'm going to continue to fold these off camera, but I want to show you first what we're going to be cutting, okay? So let me get these out of the way real quick. And let's get out our scissors. We need a flap at the top and a flap at the bottom. So we are going to get rid of this square, this square, this square, and this one, okay? Do not cut angles here. Do not cut angles here. You'll see why. So we're going to cut across to the point where the 4 pieces come together, and then we'll cut down. So we're creating our flap. And I'm cutting just to the side of the score line. See how I've got like the whole score line here? You can see it right there. There's like a score line. That's the part I'm cutting off. All right, now that we have these, those are gone. This is our top. This is our bottom. At this point, if you want to round your corners, you can. Round it here, round it here. You're going to have to fold this in to get to this one, and fold that in to get to that one, okay? Now, once you have that, go and ink everything. Go ink all the way around and all your edges, okay? And then come back. So finish doing your folding and burnishing, then do your inking, and then come back, and then we'll move on to the next part of this, okay? I'll be right back. All right, so once we have these all cut, trimmed, rounded, and ready to go, we're going to go ahead and glue them down. So glue here on the bottom, on the outside, and we're going to put that down. Now, glue on this edge, and glue on the very edge here. Because when you put these together, they're going to overlap. That's going to give you 2 lines of glue. Which will give you a nice long envelope, okay? So I'm going to glue up the rest of these. I'm going to show you one more time. And then we're going to come back and we'll move on to the next part. So for the first part, we're going to move that small flap in and we're going to put glue on it. And bring over one flap or the other. It doesn't really matter. Glue along the edge on the outside. And then the inside of the other flap. And there's your envelope, okay? So do the rest of these and then come back, and then we're going to move on to the next part. For the next part, you're probably going to want some kind of a punch, a circle or something that you're comfortable using that's going to fit inside the envelope. I'll be right back. So now that these are all inked, glued, and ready to go, come back and make sure that you got ink where you want it. I didn't ink the seam here because I didn't really want it to like glaringly stare out. Plus, I'm probably going to put paper over it anyway. Okay? So, next step is going to be to punch a divot at the top. I find that these flat punches work best for this, but it's entirely up to you. But you're just going to put it in. And punch a piece out. Okay? So whether you're using a circle punch or a flat punch or a shape punch, whatever it is you're using, just slide it in, put it in the middle, go down about as deep as you want that to be, and go ahead and just punch that out, okay? If you don't want to do this step, that's fine. Don't do it. It's entirely up to you. If you want to just cut it out You can always put a cutting mat in here and then just cut that out with a razor knife. It's entirely up to you, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and punch these out. And once I punch them out, then I will go ahead and re-ink that spot. Okay. By the way, save those because they make great tabs. You put them together and you can make a great tab out of that. Just then come in here and go ahead and re-ink around your piece. Now we're going to set these aside. We're going to get out our trimmer and our paper, and we will be right back. And this is a great use for what's left over. Okay, I'll be right back. Now for the inserts, we're going to cut these to 3 1/4 inches wide. So again, kind of look at what you're cutting and make sure that you're getting the part that you want, okay? Once we have those cut to 3 1/4 inches, then we're going to cut them down to the length we want, okay? Now, do you have to use these? No. You can use any paper you want. Now, I'm going to make these 7 1/2 inches long. All right, so now I have all of my cutting done. I can put away my board, and now I'm going to round the corners on all of these, and then I'm going to ink them all up because these are my insert pieces, okay? So go ahead and do that, and then when you come back, we're going to do a little bit more. We're going to use our hole punch and get started. I'll be right back. All right, now that we have these done, and they're all inked, and you can, if you want, you can put extra paper on the back of them for writing space or whatever. But since I'm using a single-sided cardstock, I don't need to do that. I'm going to decorate them a little bit. But I'm going to bring the envelopes back in. My ruler and a pen. And I want something I'm going to be able to see on here. Orange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in at a 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. I'm sorry, 3/4 of an inch by 1 inch. We're going to go maybe half by 1 inch. That'll work. There we go. Half by 1 inch on each side. And I'm going to mark all of them just like that. Okay, so let me put this so you guys can see that. See those two little orange dots? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark all of these. And an inch, and an inch, inch, an inch, and an inch, half an inch, an inch. Now that inch on the one side should be right at the fold, just so we know. An inch, half an inch, inch, inch. And then I'm going to poke some holes. Get out of the way. Little guards in there. So I'm just going to come up until I see that hole in the hole of my pliers. And then I'm going to start popping holes here. Now, some of these are a little bit harder to see than others. There's one. And there's the other one. Ooh, very hard to see on that one. So we'll cheat. There we go. This one. This one. All right, now we're going to put eyelets in here. Okay, so now that we have all of our holes, we are going to go ahead and put some eyelets in here. Now, my paper has gold all over it, but my eyelets are silver. My loops are silver and everything else. So basically, I'm just going to put these on here through both pages, and then I'm going to lock them on. And I'm going to do that to all of these, okay? So you go do that too, and then when you come back, we're going to kind of finish putting this all together. We've got a few more things to do. I'll be right back. All right, so now making sure that all of our envelopes are in the same direction and deciding, you know, which one we want where. We're going to go ahead and put our rings through the eyelets and then lock them on. These things can be such a pain in the butt. There we go. Now, I don't recommend using bigger rings than you need for this. You really just want them to be, you know, the right size, okay? Not too big, but the right size. Then we're going to come in with our cards, and we're just going to put one card in each pocket. Now, here's the thing. Watch this. Perfect. See how it sits perfect? That's what we want. We want it to fit perfectly there, and if we've done all of our math correctly, which I think I did, they will all fit perfectly. And our last one. Now the rest of this is up to you to decorate. I recommend Velcros for the closures on these. Okay, and once you put the papers in, go ahead and reburnish your folds because, you know, they get a little. And if there's anything that's like just a little off, like this one, I think the card is just a hair too big, just trim it. And then round your corners and re-ink it. And then it will fit in there perfectly. There we go. We're going to put this one back in. There it is. We will fold all of these down, give them a little extra burnish. There. And here. And now, for decorating. If you would like to decorate this, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. One, on the backs of each envelope, you could put a piece of paper for writing. You can certainly decorate the fronts. You can decorate the cards. Another thing that you can do is on these pieces here, you can tie bits of ribbon or lace as well. And then you have this cute little photo type journal album. And if you did this, like if you did 12 envelopes, you could do one every month of the year. Anyway, that is my little project for you today. If you have any questions, you can put those in the comment section below. Let's see, what else? Well, if you would like a copy of the schedule of when I'm live, what kind of videos I have coming up, tutorials, free classes, those types of things, you can get that by going to the community tab here on the YouTube channel, or you can go over and join my Facebook community. And the way you do that is go down to the description where it says more, click on it. Down there's going to be all my social links, including my Facebook group. You can come over and be part of our community and participate in community-only events like swaps and things like that. And we would love to have you. Other than that, you can just professionally stalk me. I've given you the stalker starter kit down there. So if you have any questions or anything, you now know how to reach me. Until I see you again, stay well. We'll leave it at that. I love you guys, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.